Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today I'm going to do a melt and pour soap tutorial. First I'm starting out with some glycerin soap and I'm measuring out about 4 ounces. I'm not really sure what you would call this technique, so if you have a name for it, go ahead and leave a comment down below and we'll go ahead and call it that, or maybe some of you guys have done this before and I just don't know the terminology. So once that was all measured out, I went ahead and melted that down in the microwave, just doing, 30-second bursts, 15-second bursts, and then I always like to make sure that I have like a little bit of the chunks left over, especially if I'm doing a design like this, because if I just go ahead and stir those until they melt down, it gets the base cooler quicker, and for this recipe we want it a little bit cooler. Then I'm going to go ahead and line my mold up and put it on a slant so that we get like a slanted design. And these are the colors that I'm using today. They are just liquid dye colors that you can find on Amazon. They do bleed when you use them. That's why I don't use them very often, but I thought for this tutorial it would be a good idea. I was kind of inspired by some YouTube videos that I watched, not anything on melt and pour, but it was like resin art, and they were using alcohol inks, and the way that the ink just went into the resin looked really cool. So back to soaping. I wanted to get this around 125 before I drop the colors in, and then you just kind of watch them disperse into the soap itself, and it's just really cool. So keep in mind that this is sped up, so it didn't really look like this as I was making it. It kind of started to do that design after a while. These are the exact colors that I used for this tutorial if you wanted to know, or if you wanted to use this color combination. Again, I just found these on Amazon and I use them in my bath bombs and other things as well. So once this first layer was set up, I made sure it was about 100 degrees, so it was starting to get solid enough so I could move the soap mold around and without disrupting that bottom layer. And then I kind of just kept an eye on the other soap that I had just melted down for the next layer, and I didn't pour it until it got close to about 125 degrees again. So you want to make sure, if you don't have a thermometer, you can just kind of keep an eye on your soap, and every base is different. If you see like a layer of skin forming on the soap, that's probably a good time to pour with this, because you only have a couple minutes after that is set up. I just wanted to show you guys a close-up shot of the soap so you have an idea of what it's starting to look like, and you can get an idea how the soap is working together. So then once this was done, like I said, made sure that layer was kind of hardened up so it wasn't melting the layer underneath it too much. And then I went ahead and started using the second color combination, and this one I was dripping the bottle dropper from really high up because I wanted the color to go down further. I wasn't sure how it was working on that first layer. So, it's just, there's no specific technique. It was just, playing around with the colors and trying to see what it would look like in the end. And here's another close-up. I just love watching the way this moves, and this is in real time, so it's not sped up, and you could actually see that while the soap was setting up. So as you can see, since we had it on a slant, you can start to see the way that the diagonal shows up. And now I'm just going to move the soap mold over so that it's lined up with that first line on the mold instead of the center line. So our diagonal line is going to be a little bit different, but it's still going to be the same process and about the same temperature, and then again dropping the dye into the soap. And you can tell that some of the layer underneath it either had the dye sitting on the top of the layer because it didn't go all the way down into the soap, or it could have been because the soap melted that layer a little bit. For the very last layer on this soap, I did just go ahead and lay the mold down flat and then just drip the colorant again from high. And you can see that the soap is different temperatures around the actual soap mold depending on how the layers are drying. And these little cap things kept falling off, so I recommend if you buy these to just take them off when you open them. And here's a shot after it has been sitting for a while, and I'll show you the final cut in just a second. So I thought the final cut on this was pretty fun. You can see the colors kind of swirled around a little bit, and the zigzag actually worked out because then it gave the color somewhere to stop so they just didn't bleed all the way to the bottom of the bar of soap. So again, leave a comment below what you would call this technique, or let me know if you've done something like this. I think it looks like tie-dye, but it could be really anything you want. I just want to say thank you guys all for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It does help me out, and I'll be doing more melt and pour videos soon.